is Rowena Dooley asking Skull citizens to report for duty. Rowena Dooley asking Soul citizens to report for duty.
Greetings. Welcome back to Soul Voices. I am GriffinGamingRPG, and today is Saturday, August the 5th. And thank you guys for being here, joining me today. Today is a rainy day where I live. I don't know where it is where you are. If you're out in the Southwest, I hope it's cooling off. I don't know what the weather is down there now, but I know they were having ridiculous temperatures of heat. I think Arizona was like 30 plus days of over 110 degrees. Straight. That's ridiculous. But I hope wherever you are, things are going well for you. This is Soul Voices. This is our one-on-one conversation show where you get to come in and talk to me about the subjects that I select, usually from the areas of Spectrum and from Reddit and sometimes the gaming industry. But the main topic is usually built around Star Citizen. And so this week and last week, like last week, I've opted to pick some things that were a little bit off the cuff. Normally, as I mentioned, I pull the information from Spectrum and Reddit. But the last couple of weeks, I've been really listening to the community and really been thinking about what is the community feeling? What are they saying? As you guys know, there's a lot of anticipation well, two things. One, update 3.20 is coming out. There's a lot of anticipation about that patch. Some people think it will be insignificant. Some people think it will be significant. I always think it's funny because always leading up to certain patches, people say, oh, it's a nothing patch. There's nothing there. Then the patch comes out and everybody's like, oh, wow, this patch is really great. I didn't know all this stuff was going to be in there. Because CIG does outline some of the things on the roadmap that they're going to put in, but quite often there are other things that come out as well, fixes and things of that nature. So I always look forward to each patch, you know, even if it's not like a long list of stuff. To me, usually it's significant enough that it changes the game in some form, at least for most of my gameplay. So I'm looking forward to 3.20. I think there's also a question about whether or not there will be a 3.21 or whether we'll be going to 4.0. I think there's a real hedging about that. People feel like if we're at 3.20, then that means 4.20 is going to be next. But then there's also the feeling of if they go to 3.21, does that mean there'll be a 3.22? And people want to see 4.0. There's a lot of anticipation for whatever the big change was. For any of you guys who were around back in the day, you'll remember that when we went from the 2s to the 3s, it was a big deal. The game changed dramatically. And so for those of us who were around back then, and even new people, obviously, when we go from 3 point something to 4, there's a psychological thing that says things are getting ready to change. Something big's going to happen. We don't know what that is, right? CIG hasn't given us any inkling to what those things could be, but we do know that something will probably change. So that's going to be something to look forward to. The other thing that's interesting is CitizenCon is coming up within just under 2 months. We're going to be there October 21st and 22nd out in Los Angeles. A lot of anticipation for that. Some people are definitely trying to manage their expectations. Other people like myself feel like it's going to be a great time. It's going to be great. It's going to be great because one, it's been 3 years since we've had a physical CitizenCon. We're able to get together. Secondly, it's going to be great to see people again and like-minded people who are into Star Citizen. And then thirdly, what is CIG going to present to us? I think that after the last 3 years of virtual events, and I think that because of anticipation, because so much time has gone by, that CIG is going to present something that really is not the normal CitizenCon. I could be wrong, and I'm not just talking about the format, because the format has definitely changed. For those of you who don't know, CitizenCon was usually a one-day event. For those of you who go back even further, you'll remember that CitizenCon was nothing more than like a 3.5-hour event, for if you don't count the time you waited in line. But it was, but it was about 3.5 hours, and that was it. And after that, we was more just hanging out with people. But when we went, that was in 2016. When I went in 2018, it was a full day event, you know, not including the Bar Citizen the day before, but I mean, what CIG presented, we were there like at 10 in the morning. The event wrapped up like later in the day, like 4 or 5 o'clock. Then people were still hanging around and talking and drinking and eating. And some people went home like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It was a full day. This year's CitizenCon is a 2-day event. And so there's a lot of anticipation about how they're going to fill out those 2 days in Los Angeles. So there's a lot of anticipation. But as we're leading up to that, this is always the dry season. It's the period where things get a little bit more quieter with CIG. They've got all hands on deck trying to prepare for CitizenCon. There's not a lot of new revelations. Standard Dev, thank you for that sub. 39 months. You're an OG. You've been around for a long time. I think you've been like 1 month since we started or something like that. So thank you. I know you were around in the beginning, but the subscription started, I think, about a month after. So thank you, Standard. Thank you. We appreciate you as always. You're always a great supporter. And so, you know, there's a lot of anticipation for this particular CitizenCon. Like I said, this is the dry season. Things kind of slow down. And I don't know if that's because, I'm sure some of it is that CIG is building anticipation. Some people may not be too thrilled about the ISCs and SCLs because they kind of go back and, like, yesterday they were making a first aid box. Some people were like, that's boring. I think somebody even commented, like, when is the excitement going to start, you know? But those are okay. You know, I mean, we're not going to get constant barrages of stuff. We've had a lot of good information in the weeks previously. And I know that they have to manage what they release to us because they are preparing to, for lack of a better term, wow us. They want to wow us when CitizenCon comes. They don't want it to be a mediocre event. So, yeah, you know, Prisoner, I agree. A lot of people didn't like the prototype episode. I liked it. I think people were looking for more because they talked about munching. But I also think that that was a great episode to let us know how the ideas or the seeds of ideas start, so that they realize it's only a few elements there, but that's how they get started, and then they build on it. I also think that that episode was kind of a filler. And I'm going to say what I mean by that. Not that it wasn't meaningful, not that they didn't show us anything, but everything they showed us in that particular episode was also in the Vulture trailer. They showed us the cutting the piece out. They showed us the tractor beam that brought things into the mouth of the Vulture. They showed the spinning mouth of the Vulture. So I think that they were showing us how it all got started way further back than like as if like right now they're just starting to figure that out. And usually a lot of the shows is stuff that they've started on already. It may be relatively just made it, but a lot of the content sometimes may be a few weeks or even a few months earlier, and they're just now starting to show it to us because they also know that's the direction that they want to go. So I like the prototype. I know other people were looking for more because they heard munching. And by the way, I'm going to say this before we get into the show, because I'm a big salvage industry hauling cargo person. There are people who still talk about the reclaimer and talk about the claw. And, oh, I can't wait till I, eat stuff up with the claw. The claw is not to eat stuff, guys. It's not. The claw is there to grab something and hold it while your lasers cut into it and chop it up. I mean, yeah, you could probably, crunch something and crush it, but just so you'll know, it's not that the claw eats things. It's there to, and I think even at the end of that prototype episode, they showed the claw come down and grab the guy's vulture and lift it up. That's all the claw does, guys. So don't think about the claw as being the mouth or the maw, okay? Anyway, enough of that tirade. Yes, the claw's there for intimidation purposes. Yeah, because if you see that thing grabbing your ship, you're going to start screaming, right? It's like watching a tow truck come up and back up to your car. Okay, let's jump into it for this week. Oh, before we do that, as you guys know, we are doing a fundraiser for St. Jude Play Live. This is normally a monthly charity drive that they do, but we've decided to extend it out over several months from June through October. We're looking to raise $10,000 for St. Jude Children's Hospital, and we hope that you guys will continue to consider or continue to give or continue to share the fact that we're doing this. You guys have us right now at $1,677. That puts us $323 away from our next goal of $2,000, where we'll be giving away a Star Citizen UEE jacket and UEE hat. And we want to be able to do that. And we're not that far away. So tell people, share with people, let people know what we're doing for St. Jude. Even if people don't watch this, you got some friends say, hey, I got a friend who's trying to donate to some people. They're trying to donate to St. Jude Children's Hospital. Would you be willing to give $10, $20? Have them sell it to you, and then you guys can send it to us, whatever the case may be. But we really want to reach this goal. By the way, don't forget, we also want to do our 12-hour live stream when we reach $3,000, where we're going to be doing a giveaway. Now, this is a little bit premature, and I'm going to make sure I share this on Sunday. So Fast Car, please don't let me do it. But we have a, what's the word I want to use? There's a word for it, an angel donor. We have an angel donor. We have someone who is tremendously supportive of what we do and is been donating probably 50%, 60% of what we're giving away is being donated by this person. And they contacted me the other day and said, hey, do you think you're going to reach your goal of $10,000? And I said, well, I know we're going to reach, I'm not worried about reaching 5,000, but the 10,000, we did that as a stretch, right? It's a stretch goal. I know we can probably make the $5,000. We did almost this much within 6 weeks, 8 weeks, right? So I know we can probably get there. But the 10 grand is a stretch. It is a stretch. And so this person was like, oh, okay, well, I tell you what, how about I just throw a Polaris in, right? We'll do a Polaris. And I'm like, but they want to do the Polaris so that the people who donate are the ones who get to put in for that. Now, that's a much smaller pool, right? Because there's a lot of people who watch our show. But if you are one of the people who have donated toward St. Jude Children's Hospital, this would be a special pool that we would do for that. So I'm just picking a number. If there's 30 people who've given, that's 30 to 1 odds that you're going to win versus 100 people who the odds obviously get higher. So I was kind of giving you guys the heads up. They're willing to either do a Polaris or a Banu Merchantman. And we're going to talk about the details on that, and we'll let you know when we're going to do it. I might do that more when we get closer. Well, I'm going to do it. I just got to figure out when. So I'm giving you guys a little bit of heads up. We're going to mention it again on Sunday. We'll mention it again next Thursday, because we do want to build up some people to say, hey, well, if you guys are going to give away Polaris, I want to be in that particular drawing. And yeah, if you're interested in Polaris, or maybe we'll say whichever one you want to pick. If you want to pick a BMM or if you want to pick the Polaris, maybe we'll do it that way. We'll give you the option of which one you want to do. Okay. So just so you guys will know, that'll be the scoop. Yeah, that's it. All right, so let's jump into this week's show, because I'm already almost 15 minutes in. Okay. Today's show is titled CIG Please. CIG Please. And like last week, I said I'm not going to go with Spectrum and Reddit and all that stuff this week. This week, I'm kind of looking at what the community is talking about. So I kind of want to get you guys to putting me at, yeah. Oh, so Fast Card, I just saw your message. Yeah, there are no links. You can relax today. You can sit back and have a drink and watch the show. No links for today's show. The idea of CIG Please is going to be 3 categories of please. So get ready. Hope you got your list. Get ready to make your list to be able to come in. All right. You only get to come in with one thing, please. Okay. Because I know there are going to be a lot of people who want to come in and talk about this. So be particular about which one you pick. Also, try to avoid picking something that someone else already picked, because I don't want to beat a dead horse twice. Okay, so try to pick something that maybe somebody else didn't say in any of these categories that we're going to do. Okay, but again, today is CIG Please, and it's because we're coming up to CitizenCon. You can think about stuff you want to see there, or if it's just stuff in general from CIG that you would like to see. Okay, so let's get ready to jump into that. All right, here's the very first question. Get ready for it. CIG, please stop blank. CIG, please stop blank. Now, this is your time to tell CIG about something that they're doing, have done, been doing. Maybe it's something that the community's doing. Maybe it's CIG, please stop the people that blah, 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 blah. Or maybe it's CIG, please tell, I don't know, John Crew to stop doing so-and-so, whatever the case may be. I'm sure that you'll have something that you would like to see CIG to focus on and say, please stop doing such and such, okay? So we already got somebody in the queue kicking us off this week. For once, it's not Pops in space. Pops is usually the first man on. But this week, we've got Kai Zinn coming in first. So let's bring Kai in. Kai, how are you? He's got to unmute as always.
I'm good. How are you, brother?
There he is. I'm doing good, buddy. Good to talk to you. Yes, I can hear you.
Test.
Yes, oh, wait a minute. Wait.
Hello?
Hang on.
I can't hear you.
Why
I see you holding up the wait finger, so I'll wait. But I can't hear you.
Why is my mic not coming through here?
Oh, I heard something.
There we go. Is that better?
There we go. I hear you just fine.
All right, my friend. Yep, I had to change because I was over a test and I had to do push to talk. Okay, I'm back.
That was my fault. All right. So first off, you stay away from my John Crew. I'm straight, but that man can turn me. He's a wonderful. That guy is an MVP as far as I'm concerned. John Crew is the man.
Fair enough.
All right. CIG, please stop talking about Pyro being just around the corner. It's been 4 years that Pyro is just around the corner. Either do it or shut the hell up. I'm out.
Wait. Don't go anywhere, Kai. Wait. Talk about it just a little bit more. By the way, guys, don't forget, you guys can come in. There's a link there, just like Kai did. You can come in, share with me about if you guys think CIG's doing great, hey, no problem. But Shady Phase is giving you a shout out on that one. So let's talk about that a little bit. Why is it important? I mean, obviously there's a marketing side of it, but let's talk about the reality side for the community. Why you say they shouldn't do that?
So 2020 SitCon was all about Road to Pyro, Pyro's next year. 2021 CitizenCon was Pyro's coming. 2022, then the virtual CitizenCon was, oh my God, look at all the Pyro stuff. It's coming next year. This is 2023 Pyro or CitizenCon. And let me tell you something. If they don't break out Squadron stuff, if they're still beating this Pyro horse, I'm gonna lose it.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
I'm gonna hurt somebody.
Let me go back to something that you've said before in the past. I'm not so sure I have a problem with the Road to Pyro, but there is something that you say that subconsciously they do that ties to that. And you've always said this. Stop giving dates, because that's the issue, right? The fact that they literally said end of year, beginning of blah, 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 blah. That's what they tied to the Road to Pyro, right? Because you always say that. Stop putting out these, these imaginary, not imaginary, but they're dates. You basically give us a time, what end of year, whatever it is. They do that. But
that one was super easy, so I left it for somebody else.
Yeah, but true. But I'm saying, but that goes back to something you've always said. And even if I said, here's the road to Nyx, but if I don't associate, or create some type of anticipation that Nyx is coming out next summer, then he says, okay, well, they're showing us stuff about Nyx. But the reality of it is that you're right. They have tied this Road to Pyro to launch dates or dates that we can expect it. And I know like in the beginning, we were seeing concept art, then it moved from concept art to seeing gray box. Then it came to like you said, 2021, where they actually went to Pyro 3 and we saw the whole demonstration there where the 400 flew in and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the road to Pyro, but pretty soon it'll be the drive to Pyro, maybe. I don't know, but I agree. I think that they've worn that one out. And
last year, with all of the virtual panels on it, was Pyro, all Pyro all the time. And everybody's like, okay, for sure, 2023 is going to be when Pyro drops. And then in December, Chris Roberts sends out a letter saying, you know, we're going to try for Pyro by Q4 2023. And everybody goes, Jesus Christ, bro. When Chris Roberts says we're going to try for something Q4 2023, what he really means is it's coming 2025. And that just hurts my heart.
You got to know how to set your clock by Chris Roberts at this point. Okay. Fair enough, Kai. Thank you,
Love
my
you,
brother.
brother.
All right. Kai brought some good stuff. Let's bring in Sir Togi. Togi is here. T,
What up?
how are you, man?
I'm chilling.
Oh, how
Nice
come I
day.
felt like, why did I feel like I knew I'd hear from you today on this particular subject?
I mean, I've got a serious one this time.
Okay, fair
All
enough.
right? CIG, please stop being so cagey with Squadron 42. If
Okay.
all of the progress is in Squadron,
Mhm.
then you just make it look like nothing's happening if you don't show it. You know,
So-
you can read the reports, and reading that control surfaces is working
Right,
is one thing,
right.
but they don't show it.
What do you?
And it's-
What would be? What? Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to ask you this question because everybody's always, a lot of people are curious about Squadron 42. Where is the line between creating anticipation, making sure we don't show too much, and I'm asking this because I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. What do you think it would be? And the line of saying, here's the community, here's our responsibility to be transparent about development and keeping them satisfied as well. But also at the same time, that's showing all of our hand. So what do you think CIG could do?
All right, remember
To help.
the mission that they showed years ago?
Yes.
I would love to just see that updated now.
Mm,
What does that look like today?
How far they've
That
come
would be
along
a
since then.
a huge bar
True.
of progression.
True. I agree because I remember when they did the Morrow tour, and then when they showed us that, it was a huge. We could see the advancement in the development, the story.
Yep.
Like when we showed the Morrow tour, it was just it was just the dialogue and the animation. Then when we got the one you're talking about, it had the music behind it, sound effects. We saw the VFX better. Everything just, we just saw the progress in the thing. That would be
It's
cool.
got the flying through the canyons.
Yes.
It's got FPS shooting. It's got everything that you need in a demo.
Yes.
And it's been years.
Yes. It's 2017.
And seeing all of that stuff in
Mhm.
would be huge.
Okay. I'll buy that for $1. Okay. All right. So CIG, stop being so cagey. There, you can trust us with some stuff about Squadron 42. I'll buy that for $1. All right. Thanks, Togi.
Yep.
All righty. Okay. We've only had 2 people that want to tell CGI to stop. You guys must be excited. Okay. Well, somebody else just popped in. North End Trooper just got in. Let's bring in North End. Hey, buddy. How are you? We got to unmute.
Hello.
There he is. What's up?
Hey.
How are you?
Doing?
Good, man.
So I think this one is kind of under an umbrella of more. Just give us more information.
Okay.
So CIG, please stop hiding news behind the veil of 4 months before CitizenCon. They're creating this desert of content and news almost a half a year before CitizenCon. So if they were in a hypothetical world, if they were just going to give us the content that we would like to have throughout the summer, would CitizenCon need to be 2 days?
Okay.
So it's kind of like what you said, don't stop being cagey.
Yeah.
And just let us siphon out the news throughout the year. Stop putting it behind this veil that we have to wait
until that event. That's an interesting point. I think that CitizenCon, regardless of content being before or after, that people that are going to go are going to go. Does that make sense? I don't think I don't go to CitizenCon because it's like, oh, I know they're just going to show all this great stuff that we don't see out the year. I just go because I like going to the event, right? So I agree. I think they definitely should salt and pepper it up, right? They should keep it. It shouldn't get to a point where you literally feel like, as you mentioned, that there's a drought, right? That I'm just picking a random month. After June, it seems like everything becomes these very minimal kind of things, you know, because they're building a lot for CitizenCon, which, yeah, I get it from a business marketing standpoint, but I also think, and I'm going to elaborate on something you said, I think sometimes they underestimate the community. And what I mean by that is, I think that there's a certain aspect of our community that puts their big boy pants on, or their big girl pants on, however you want to look at that, that we can take it. You know what I mean? Let me give you an example of what I mean. Do you remember when the whole thing happened, moving from iCash to PES? There was somewhere in that process when they were working on that they, whatever it was they had decided to use for technology, it didn't work out. And so they basically had to scrap it. They found out whatever it was not going to completely accommodate what they wanted to do. So they had to go back to the drawing board, start doing stuff again, and then they revamped it, and it ultimately became PES. But they didn't tell us that until a year afterward. And I know there's a side of it that says they don't want to show failure, like we had to throw that out, like literally throw the baby out with the bathwater and start over. I kind of understand that. But I also feel like the community has grown now throughout the development enough that we can hear the bad news along with the good news.
Yeah, look at the Santucky Eye.
Yes, yes.
Everybody was like, that's what we want to see.
Exactly. People didn't flip. But yeah, there was some disappointment, but nobody said, oh, I'm not playing this game no more because they delayed the Santucky Eye. You know what I mean? I still want to get one. I'm still looking forward to. In fact, as you mentioned, I was glad to hear that there was something that they tried to do. It didn't meet the standard. There's evidently, they're not just pushing stuff through just to, to meet the clock or to satisfy the community. I could deal with that. I honestly could. And so I think
it tells us,
yeah, go ahead.
It tells us that their expectations are a lot higher than we perceive them to be.
Yes, absolutely. And that's good for us to know too, that they're just not pushing any old thing out the door to satisfy a quarter release or something like that. Again, it's not always an easy pill to swallow, but it is nice to know that they'll do that. But I like what you're saying about because everybody does sense that things thin out, and mind you, I know in gaming, Paul Shelley talked about this a couple of weeks ago, the gaming industry in general dries up during the months of July and August. Just everything does, right? Because the releases start coming out in September. Like we just got, what's this that came out? Baldur's Gate just came out, right? And people are pretty excited about that. But next month we got Starfield coming out. A lot more anticipation getting into the fall months where other things will start to come out. And of course we have CitizenCon coming up. But no, thank you for sharing that. That's good stuff. Okay.
I do have one quick question.
Sure, go ahead.
Is it comparable to other gaming conventions?
Mm-hmm.
Does CIG push the boundaries of retaining information until such event? I can't think of like BlizzCon where they hold they're cagey about information until that event happens.
I would say I think CIG does it, but it's difficult, and I don't want to sound like I'm making an excuse for CIG. CIG is always a unique animal when we compare it to what other established companies are doing. And I don't mean established in the sense of the companies are established, because CIG is established, but I am talking about their products being established. I don't know, like, for example, BlizzCon's coming up, right? I don't know what they have coming up that's new that they've been talking about since Diablo and everything has come out. So I haven't heard any news about anything that what's going to be their big release or announcement at this next event. So that's a good question. But I think that there is some reservation about CIG because they've been bit in the butt. And I hate to say this. They've been bit in the butt, not just by the outside world, but by the community when they show something that doesn't show up. We also bite the hand that feeds us sometimes. In the earlier days when they used to show us a whole lot of stuff, if it didn't happen or if it came out wrong the community would bite their heads off. And not to mention the industry that would also ridicule the company for, they said they were going to do this and they didn't, or it came out and it was buggy and not working. And so I feel like there was a little bit of reeling in, and don't get me wrong, that comes with the territory too. So find a happy medium that satisfies the community and lets us know things at the same time, doesn't put too much out there, so that if things change in development, again, going back to Jared's thing about development versus construction, if they don't produce something, we do ask, well, where was that? You know, we saw, like, not to be funny, in Pyro 3, according to the original lore and if you go on the star map, was a lava planet. It was a magma planet. And there were people that were looking forward to seeing that. Now, a lot of people, because they don't know the lore or didn't go on the map and look at it, when they showed us Pyro 3 in that video, people were like, oh, that's great. I know some people that were like upset because they, you know, we were expecting, when they were talking about rivers and everything, we thought that was going to be the movement toward lava and having this magma planet and all this other stuff. And so they didn't make a big stink about it, but there were people who were disappointed. But back in the day when they used to show us a lot more stuff, people used to really give it to them if things changed. So that's a good question. You know, compared to other game conventions or game conventions that are being produced by game developers, I think that maybe we should look at and see. You know, I'll look at the BlizzCon thing and see what they're talking about this year, because I know that's coming up like right around the corner.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, buddy. Good question. All right. That's North End Trooper. Let's bring in Admiral Kusanagi. Admiral, are you there?
Sir, I am. How's it
Okay.
going?
How are you? Good.
Not too bad, not too bad.
Yes, sir. What you got? CIG,
you guys
please what?
mentioned, like,
Mhm.
huh? Well, yeah. SIG, please stop delivering stuff that doesn't work. Whether it be, and you guys talk about like, oh, they wait for, you know, to make sure it comes out like perfect. But like in dealing with, you know, the device for mining, you know, that you put on rocks, the thing is like really has issues from time to time. You have to like throw it on the ground and pick it up with a tractor beam to make it look right. And then there's a lot of workarounds you can do for stuff like that. I think some people just leave it attached to the rock or just get rid of it. You have grenades that don't really work that people are terrified to use. It just things like that that just don't, that make it more stressful to try what they're delivering and make people disappointed in what they're trying to do.
So let me ask you a question then. We have the PU and we have the PTU, right? PTU is Public Test Universe. And then we've got the PU, which is the Persistent Universe.
Yep.
Both of them are testing though, correct? So do you think that because one is the PU, we expect, and I'm not saying this is wrong,
no, I think you're right. I think it's a level of
expect things to
expectation
be
when they get to
working. Yeah, I mean, because I know that's how we feel like when we're testing in the PTU and it goes to what we call the live server. I think there is a subconscious expectation that we're still not testing over here. You know what I mean? We look at the PTU as the place we test, and the PU is the place where we play. But is the PU still testing ground? I'm asking that as a rhetorical question. Is it?
No, in a sense it is. But
Okay.
I feel like it should be a lot more polished.
Okay.
I understand. I feel like the PU is just like a lag, you know, a testing environment, try to get more people in the game, see what breaks under stress,
Okay.
and
More on the analytics side, more than
I
the.
really feel like that should be the case. If they're
bug
not
side.
ready to push it to the PU, don't push it to the PU. You know,
Okay.
just leaving the PTU, let you know, have Evocati at it and get a thing like, you know, worked on.
Mhm.
If grenades shouldn't be in the PU right now, then just take them out and have them, and then just keep them in the PTU.
And keep them in the PTU. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you and I think it was yesterday. I actually was tossing grenades left and right, but it was because I just put one on my chest. I would throw it, go back to my inventory, put another one on my chest. People with like 2 grenades on their body. I mean, it's almost like a death sentence back in the day. I don't know if it's still a thing.
Okay.
It's just like, but there are mechanics like you load a magazine into your gun and it just drops out. You know, if you're in an FPS battle, you know, you want things to work, and maybe that's an FPS thing, and maybe that's a lag issue too. I'm not sure, but there are gameplay issues that really have to be locked down a little bit tighter for people to like want to continue to play, and which will help that analytical feedback that CIG is looking for.
Okay. I can dig that. Okay, Admiral. Thank you, brother.
All right.
Good suggestions. Good suggestions. Let's bring in Pops in Space. Pops, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Hey, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
All right. One thing I'd like to have is CIG to stop slighting their backbone, concierge people.
Okay.
It didn't really sit too well with me the way they did the tickets this year.
Okay.
I also think concierge should get something for free. So basically that's it for me. I think they should stop.
Concierge. Okay. For those of you who don't know what concierge is anyone who has contributed or donated more than $1,000 towards the development of the game. Concierge do have, Pops, I'm just going to go over this so people will know what we do get, and then we can talk about what we don't get. Concierge get, they have their own area in Spectrum where they have their own forum where they can have conversations. Concierge also have access to, when sales go on, they get to purchase ships. They used to get them sometimes at a discount. It was like a $5 difference or whatever the case may be. But they do get early access when things go on sale. Sometimes, like if a ship goes on sale on Thursday, they get first shot at it. They may also get what they call a chairman's club. They will get like access to unique paints, for example. If I buy the ship using cash, I get a certain concierge paint that's included with the ship. Okay. We also have our own store. There's a concierge store where we can purchase CIG merchandise, usually at a discounted rate, or sometimes they'll do sales there that they won't do on the regular marketplace to sell certain items. And I think that's about it, right, Pops? Am I missing anything else?
No, I think you covered it.
And the other thing too, at live events like CitizenCon, depending on your concierge level, concierge also may have access to certain parts at the convention. Mind you, it's not like anything in relation to the game per se. They're more social areas. So, for example, if you're a $1,000 person, they may have a bar area where you and people can hang out. Or if you're a $10,000 giver, then there may be a bar that they could get to hang out in. It doesn't block you from seeing anything in relation to the game development or anything like that, or access to people, nothing like that. They don't care about that. It's not like you can say, oh, I'm a $10,000 giver, I get to have lunch with Chris Roberts. It's nothing like that. But they have those minimal perks. But I think Pops is referencing the fact that there are no you're talking about like even virtual items, right, Pops? There's nothing in particular that concierge get that like actually don't Flare. Yeah, it doesn't even cost us anything, right? No, well, let me go back. Yeah, we don't even get Flare. You're right, because you have to be a subscriber to get that stuff, right?
Right.
So yeah, even concierge don't even get anything on those levels. Some of you guys have seen like that gold armor that people run around in. That's because you're concierge, right? That's one of the things you get. I think you get some weapons or something at one point, but that's it. There's really nothing else that you get beyond that. And Pops, you mentioned about the ticket sales during the convention. I know we had talked about this a little while back, right after they went on sale. And I know there's been this question about whether or not a certain amount of tickets would have been provided maybe to people who are concierge level, as well as people in the community, so that there was a little bit of everybody could go, but people who are, and I know there's been a big question about that, Pops. If somebody has spent $20,000 on the game, does that give them any other privilege over someone who has just spent $25 in the game? I know that's a real weird ethical question, because people feel like, hey, I've invested way more. But there are people who also invest time, who, like, I'll give you an example. Colossal, our friend Colossal. Colossal, or my friend Cosmic, they are Evocati. And they've been doing that for years of putting in that time. I've never heard Evocati say we get a special anything, for what they do. They don't, I mean, some people say, oh, they get to play the game earlier. Nah, they get to play a buggy game earlier. You know what I mean? Right, exactly. They get to go to work earlier, right? So, maybe CIG, when all this is said and done, will do something special for them. Who knows, right? Maybe they'll give them all a freaking F8 or something. I don't know. But it's difficult, trying to figure out how do you keep things at equilibrium so that the person who has spent $25 is just as important as the person who spent $25,000, But I do agree that there are some things that don't cost CIG anything, money wise, that they could give concierge people. That would be cool. You know something I found out the other day, and I don't mean to wear you out here, Pops. I was playing last night with who was it? I was with Captain Jones and forget who the other person was. Forgive me because I'm getting old, guys. But we were in a bunker, and I went into a chase, and I didn't know this, guys. You know, y'all think Griff knows stuff. I tell you, I'm an idiot. I didn't know that they had executive editions of all the guns in the game. And so I found an executive edition SMG. I thought it was just the one that they did for the, concierge, the gold ones. But they got gold guns for these other folks. I was like, I saw this executive edition. I was like, what is this? And the guy's like, oh, yeah, I got a whole bunch of those. Captain Joe's like, I got all of them. I'm like, are you kidding me? I didn't know it. But it would be cool if they did produce things for us, that, at least virtual items, right? I think that would be really, really cool.
Society is,
You know what they could do, Pops?
On that.
You know what they could do?
What's that?
You know how when you get the subscriber flare, like if you're an Imperator, you get 2 things, and if you're the other one, you get 1 thing? They could just give concierge people all 3.
As a combo, if you...
Just give us all 3. Don't give us 2. Just give us all 3.
All 3? Yeah.
Like the 3 jackets that just came out. You know what I mean? Just give us all 3.
Yeah.
Whether you're a subscriber or not, give us all 3. If you're in a subscriber or not, just give us all 3. There you go. There you go, CIG. Pops just came up with the fix. Give us all 3. Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Pops. But I do want to mention this about Pyro 3.
Wait. I said you got to come in with 1 thing. You only get 1.
No, it's not that, because the only thing is because you mentioned that Pyro 3 doesn't have the lava, and it does. It still does.
They're creating a biome for it possibly, but it's not what it was supposed to be originally. Originally, it was a red freaking volcanic planet. Now they're just going to do a biome for it. Yeah.
Right. It has not to the...
Listen, Colossal wanted a freaking Mustafar. That's what Colossal wanted, okay? He wanted the whole planet burning and hot.
Okay. Wow. I don't know what we would do, but...
Exactly. He'd have set up a house on that bad fella somewhere. You know that.
Burning house. Okay.
All right, Pops, thanks. Okay. A burning house. You got a burning settlement. All right, last but not least, let's bring in Fist to Face. Fist?
All right. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I had to turn that down. Okay, so for me, CIG, please stop nerfing something when a community or a part of the community comes up in an uproar because something feels OP. But when it actually states that it is supposed to be what it is, hint, the Ares, Ion, and Inferno. Please don't ever do that again. You know what I'm saying? And to my point is this again, because I ranted on this the other day. Like I said, I've seen it done in other games where a vocal, and I'm be honest, it's a vocal minority. Yes, they do play a lot in the game, but it's still a vocal minority that comes in and they say, oh my goodness, please, oh, this thing is too damn powerful. Oh my God, it's one shot in an arrow. Well, damn it, that's what it's supposed to do. Now, I get the point of fact that maybe slow it down, you know what I mean? Something should have, okay, it might have flown too fast or whatever, but the gun is supposed to do what the gun is supposed to do.
Okay.
Don't ever do that again.
Let me play devil's advocate. Does CIG nerf the ship because the community complains, or was the ship deliberately overpowered so that you would buy them?
Nah. See, that time.
Now wait. Now, let me tell you why. Because the game is not balanced. There's nothing in this current game that's balanced. Nothing is balanced. There's nothing that we play in this game right now that is actually going to be the way it is in the Final Front. So that means that, and I'm asking you now, I'm thinking from a business standpoint. You're talking about a gamer standpoint. I'm saying, did I produce this ship? Talk about it being, the capital ship killer, when they said that ship was strictly about disabling capital ships. They even did that Jax video. Remember when what's his name? His buddy? What's the guy's name? What's Jax's buddy with the helmet?
Oh, Jimmy.
Yeah, remember Jimmy came flying in and he shot the Idris or the whatever it was. He shot some ship and split it in half using that and whatnot.
Okay.
Is that marketing?
Yeah,
or was it the community?
And I get it. I get what you're trying to say though, Griff. I get, you're playing devil's advocate that I mean, don't get me wrong. Yes, it does play a part in the focus in there. Yes, you know, folks see it and it's like boom. But on paper, when you say on paper though, that this ship is what it's supposed to do, right?
And it is. Tell me what the ship is.
Okay.
It is.
And it is. But right now, what is it?
I think it is exactly what it said it was going to be on paper. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
what did it do? Hold on for a second, Griff. What did it do when it first came into the game to an arrow?
It was OP.
No. Wait a second. Are you saying that an Ares
depending on your range, it was OP.
Okay.
It was slightly OP. And you can still shoot it. You can still blow an arrow up with it with an Ares. You can still blow up an arrow.
How many shots?
Maybe 2. But here's the deal. Check it out. The reason why I said that there's no balance. There's no armor. There's the shield. The shield emitters aren't in. You're basing it on the way the game is now. And I agree with you. If you're saying it the way the game is now, you're absolutely right, Fist. And all I'm saying is that we cannot base. And I agree with what you said earlier about let's pay attention to what they say the ship is supposed to do in their writing, right? And the ship is designed, it's focused on screw small ships and stuff. I get what you're saying, though. If it can do this to a big ship, oh my God, what should it be able to do to something like an Arrow or you know, I get that, a Gladius. I agree with you 100% there. All I'm saying is that their latitude and room for doing that exists because the game's in development. And it's not the first ship that we've had that's OP. We've had ships before that were OP and they reeled them back. It's happened before. Redeemer, same thing. Redeemer came out and was slaying stuff. They pulled that sucker back. Remember, because when they did the what's the RSI ship, the X-Wing thing? The X-Wing freaking, not the Antares, but the original one. I can't think of the name. What's the name of it, chat? The RSI fighter.
Oh,
thank you, Scorpius. Remember, they actually put out a letter saying we are not going to nerf.
We're not going to do it again, and I'm glad.
So that's what. To your point.
But to my point,
yes.
And
to your point,
and I want to say this thing. The main thing, the reason why I'm bringing it up is not so much that things don't change. You know what I mean? Balancing issues. It's that when you change it based upon a complaint.
You say it's a complaint. I say it was a business move. I hear you.
But I'm talking about the complaint. When you hear that vocal party starts partying, starts, oh my goodness, this is OP, and then you bend over backwards for them. That scares me because I've seen it done in other games that I've played.
Okay, fair enough. Be careful.
The point that I'm harping on.
I agree. Be careful about how the community may influence your decision.
Right.
So that means also that you're just saying be careful, not don't listen to the community. Just be careful.
Right.
Okay.
Be careful.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough. All right, buddy. Thank you. All right. I love this. That's good stuff. All right. That's why I didn't buy one of the Marys, y'all. Anyway, all right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, don't worry about the caps, Kaizen. You're okay. You're so silly. All right, let's go to question number 2. All right, CIG, please fix. All right, please fix. We talked about please stop. Okay, we're gonna go into please fix. Okay, what are those things? I know y'all gonna jump in for this one. What are some things CIG needs to fix? I know Admiral kind of touched on this a little bit, but his thing was more like, please stop putting things in the game in the PU that aren't, at a place where the playability is really there and consistency. If it's still buggy, leave it in the PTU, in the test universe, because people will kind of expect that things may be wonky, but don't let those things come over to the PU. I understand that. It's still kind of tough though, because the PU for me is still a place of testing. Even though I know that we say all of the PTUs, public test universe, but I still think that both of them are basically out there for us to test in. Let me bring Kaizen in into the studio with me. And the subject is CIG Please Fix. Kai, you there?
Elevators. I'm out.
Elevators. What's wrong with elevators?
They kill you.
I don't have any problems with elevators. I haven't gotten killed by an elevator in months. I'll tell you what I think one of the problems is with elevators, Kai. And somebody help me out with this if anybody's got any technical expertise, and maybe Kyle get what I'm saying as well. The only problem I've had with elevators in the past 6 months is every once in a while, this happened to Admiral Kusanagi last night. Every once in a while, you get in the elevator, if you don't have a helmet on, there's no oxygen in it. So yes, they do kill you. But I haven't had one run me over, slam me, fall through it or anything. Now, this is why I'm sharing this. I have rarely, the amount of times I had an elevator, you know how like the elevators used to kind of fly through the air and run into you? I think I've only had that happen to me twice. I have once I have fallen through an elevator.
Correct.
Okay, once. Now, I'll tell you why I think that is. And I could be wrong. A lot of stuff with the falling through things is LOD related. The stuff isn't loading in fast enough. Now, I don't know if it's because, mind you, I have a very good internet at my home because I do video and film production. And so I have to have a high rate of speed for my stuff to go in and out for downloads and uploads. I don't know if that's maybe why I don't run into that. And people who may not have a high, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, I'm not bragging. I'm saying people buy their internet based on their usage. And if they don't have the need for like a commercial level internet, I'm not sure if that a lot of people, because of maybe where their location is or whatever, that things don't load in, that they run into the elevator as soon as it opens, the LOD hasn't happened and they fall through. Now the elevator's flying through space stuff, I used to see it all the time, but I only had it ever happen to me twice. So
here's what I've had.
Okay, go ahead.
I've had you step into an elevator and there's no air. I've had you step in an elevator and you fall through the ground.
Okay.
I've had you're standing outside waiting for an elevator and as it arrives, you get killed by kinetics.
Right.
I've had you're standing out there waiting for an elevator and then it launches you straight backwards into space off the platform on Port Erebus.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
All I know is two things. Number one, if elevators in America, in the real world, were like elevators in Star Citizen, we would have a whole lot less fat Americans because everyone would be taking the steps. And number two, did Griff just admit that he does cam work on the side? I'm out.
Oh, you need to stop. Okay. No, Kai, you're right. It needs to be fixed. Everybody's not going to have a commercial grade internet. And I'm not even sure if that's really why I don't run into the problem. Because I know people have the problems with like running up and down ramps, the same thing. They go in and out of like the back of a cuddy and they fall through or they die. I never had that happen. Running up and down stairs, never had that happen. I just always started to think, what's so different about my rig or system? And I don't have a great rig. I've got a moderate rig, but I do know that my internet loads pretty fast. No, but Kai, to your point, so what? I'm not having the problem. A lot more people than me do have that problem. And elevators are an issue. We've talked about whether or not elevators should be instantaneous. The load, is the physicalized issue a problem? I agree. It frustrates people, especially the whole falling through an elevator. Getting killed is bad too. But anyway, all right, let me move on here. CIG, please fix. We're gonna bring in Fist to Face. Fist.
Hey, what's happening? All right.
All right.
Can you please fix the website?
What like what? Give them some suggestions of what needs to be better.
Streamline it.
Okay.
Consolidate it and streamline it. It's I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a web, UI or whatever, anything like that. But from what I have known from doing one before, that when you have things that are too, here and there and people cannot find stuff, it becomes frustrating.
The problem with the navigation.
Right, exactly. So streamline and condense things.
So let me ask you
things more simplified.
Let me ask you this. Is it the navigation? Is it the content? Is it too wordy, too much, too little? What do you think is the big problem?
Okay. So for example, like who would know to go to Spectrum and how would you find Spectrum if you're a newcomer? Right?
That's true. Yeah. Or even know what it is, right? Or even know what it is, right?
How would you know? Only time you would know is if you would have to go out and ask somebody. That's a bad thing.
Yeah.
That is a bad thing.
Because they've got it under the apps category, and even calling it apps is...
got it on a com link. Who knows what that is coming into the game for the first time? Yeah.
Now, let me say this. This is tough because the reason why stuff is under apps is because ultimately, and of course, if you don't know this, it wouldn't make any sense. But CIG wants that whole thing of the Mobi-Glass to mirror the website, right? So that when I go on my Mobi, I can go on to Spectrum through there, right? But that's not implemented, right? So there's no way people kind of figure that out about the game. Because when you go in the Mobian game, it ain't like you can go to Spectrum in there, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, there needs to be a better, because it's hidden. Like when you have to literally go up to the top and click apps to find Spectrum.
Right.
Instead of it being a navigation menu bar item right up there at the top to let you know it says
Right.
forums or something, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Stuff
Yeah.
like that. If you wanted to, like this game is very lore heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. If I wanted to find something about a certain, event or species, I didn't know I had to go to the Galactopedia. Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you. Galactopedia. Well, where's the Galactopedia at?
Yeah.
Well, I got to go into apps.
Same thing.
Who's thinking of apps? Like when
Right.
you see the word apps, you're thinking what?
Right.
An app.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think your points were straight on the mark there. Yeah, CIG may have to come up with a category called "Learn the Lore" or something. I don't know, but
Or
I agree.
something.
You wouldn't,
You
because there's
gotta-
nothing to even guide people to. If you don't know those lore posts that come out, from the lore team and stuff. Yeah, you do. You're right. It's almost like you almost have to have all this pre-knowledge ahead of time to even know how to navigate the site. Right?
Yeah,
It's not user friendly. It's not Apple friendly, y'all. It's not
Right.
the
There you go.
intuitiveness is not there.
got to
Yeah.
streamline it.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff.
Yep.
That's a good one. All
No
right.
problem.
Thanks, Fist. All right. Yep. That's a good suggestion. North End, you're there.
Howdy, sir.
There he is.
So I think for the kind of the more niche community that I kind of fall into, I love watching the development and the progress they made. So to answer your question, CIG, please fix your information pipeline to the progress tracker. It's broken twice this year. And every time it breaks, we have to wait 2 weeks. So I've been working or talking with Shiny Hobo, the Shiny Tracker, and Jake Acapella, and I would love to see them fix that where we get more streamlined and more up-to-date information.
Yeah. The progress tracker has been, again, I'm going to go back to something that Fish just said a second ago. If you don't know how the progress tracker is supposed to work, it's also deceiving. Does that make any sense? Like,
100%.
Yeah, if you don't understand how that, because it's very easy to, I think part of the problem is why people go to the progress tracker, and some of that comes from the fact that why people used to go to the roadmap, right? The roadmap was their way of saying, this is what's getting ready to come out. That was basically what it was for a lot of people, right? Oh, this is what's going to come out in the next patch. Then the progress tracker kind of, when they chopped the roadmap down, the progress tracker is supposed to be, like you said, a place to show progress of teams. But when people look at bars like that, the assumption is that when a bar ends, that's the end of whatever is going on, right? And then they also don't look at dependencies, right? This is dependent upon this is dependent upon that. If this goes well with this, blah, 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 blah. You mentioned it was broken a couple of times. What happened when it was broken? What happened?
It's the import tool to import it from, I believe, from their Jira stories into the progress tracker broke.
Okay.
So that's why you've seen a couple of times where there was like no teams, no anything on the progress tracker. So that's happened. The first time it was bad. Second time, they decided not to update that or publish it because it was going to do the same thing.
It's going to do the same thing again.
To kind of go on your point, though, a great example right now is probably the Spirit series. It's scheduled all the way out to the end of December, but using Shiny Tracker, it shows where there's a giant gap of time where there's no work on it. So I think it stops around like end of August, and then won't pick up until like November.
Ooh.
But on the real the CIG's progress tracker, it deceives you to think they're constantly working on it when that's not really the case at all.
Yes, true. Absolutely. It was just recently John Crew and them talked about how, someone may get an assignment that it's like for 2 weeks, right? And maybe they're 7 days in or 6 days in, and then they have to get pulled off to go work on something else. They can literally 2 or 3 days be off on something else and then have to come back to it. Or maybe they're working on something for 2 weeks with the expectation that something else was going to happen. That thing doesn't happen. And so now they can't finish whatever it was they were working on. I mean, there's a lot of not understanding how CIG operates with that particular tool. Do you know if Jake is I know Jake oversees it. Is he the only person that works on that? Do you know, or does he have some other people that help him with that?
I am under the impression that he's the sole
person. That's what I kind of thought too. Yeah, he just gets the information from teams. Yeah. Because I got the impression in the beginning that was the team submit the information to him and he does it. But I didn't know if by now whether it had grown to someone else working with him or if it was still just him. Okay, well, that's a good question. We'll have to ask him when we see him in November, in October. All right, thanks, North End.
Awesome, thank you.
Alrighty. And last but not least, we'll bring Pops in space in. Pops.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. CIG, please fix what?
Ships. And I know that's broad, and
I know you're going to narrow it. Go ahead. What about ships?
Okay. Ship standards. And
okay.
what I mean by that is I know they're working on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this is where they bring in the ship and then they go take that ship. Like they're doing the 600. What's the torpedo ship? Retaliator, because they have to widen the walkways.
Right.
What I'm saying is get them right so we know what we have, so that they're not, you're not taking them away and bringing them back and taking them away and bringing, gold standard, platinum standard, bring them in. You should be big enough boys now that y'all can bring in the ship as it should be, and then maybe, just have the systems, being able to turn the systems on, the cartography deck, but have all of the things in place so we know what we have.
Yeah. There was a period where CIG went on this like little period of bringing all these ships to gold standard, right? And then it kind of disappeared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Retaliator was supposed to come up to gold standard. We know we got the Gladius come up to gold standard. I forget what the other ships were. 600I was one that was going to go to gold standard. And I'm not sure what happened because this was after they pulled people to go work on Squadron 42. So I'm not sure what happened because I was actually thinking this is great. They're bringing all the ships one by one up to meet the technology of where the game is to accommodate things, especially when they were talking about being able to remove components and all this other stuff, right? And that kind of seemed to fade away a little bit. So yeah, fix the ships. I wish they would get back on that factor so that we know that older ships are going to start, being brought up so that when things like the component removal and stuff like that that's supposed to happen, that the ships we own, we can actually start doing that stuff with them. Because I know I want to be able to remove components on a ship in a heartbeat, and not because of me stealing them. I want to be able to swap things out physically beyond just going to my mobiGlas and changing it there,
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
And, just like you've mentioned before, I think they should be well in advanced enough where, like you said I think you said the 800 lacks windows where it should.
The 600. Yeah, the 600.
600.
Yeah.
600.
Right.
Lacks the windows and to take a ship out and just for windows. I think they should have those assets and things like that by now. But hopefully that they'll get them done pretty soon.
Okay. Cool. Like that. Good stuff, Pops.
All right.
Thank you, brother. All right, and last but not least, we bring back the man himself, Togi. Togi, you there?
Well, since he said fix ships, I'm going fix ground vehicles.
Oh, okay. What about him specifically?
How hard is it to make a brake
from
reverse?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. I mean, especially like with like the Nova having like just dog poop depression on that gun. Like you cannot shoot down.
Okay.
The only you can shoot down is to like drive
at an angle
on a hill, but you've got no brake.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it just rolls downhill, and so you're constantly going up and down and up and down and up and down. And that's why the Nova really sucks, and it's really disappointing. And I feel really dumb for buying 5 of them. Like really dumb. I want to use it so bad. And then I pull it out and I'm just disappointed.
All right, so let's put your request out here because this sounds pretty significant. It needs to be able to gun turret needs to be lowered a certain degree, 10 degrees or whatever. It needs to be able to point downward somewhat. And then also they need to definitely make it so that if you're on an incline, that the turret
break.
So let me ask you a question. If you're on an uphill, does it roll backwards too, or just when you do? Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. All right, CIG. This is important.
That's pretty much all ground vehicles.
Oh geez. Okay. See, I never stop and sit at an incline, so I didn't know that.
Just go out there and they hit like the tiniest little rock.
Oh my God.
And then you flip over.
Okay. All right, CIG.
And then you got to sit there and spin the turret and smack your gun barrel against the ground and hope that it pops you over.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, CIG. You either got to come up with a brake button or something. That's not good. I understand the fact that, you know, if I'm in my car and I'm on a downward incline, my car is going to move. But yeah, there should be a way to stop. Absolutely. The turret thing I know is a problem because I know that that's the same with some of the other vehicles too, that, you know, you can only, and I get where they've got to make it where it has to clear the vehicle, but there are plenty of vehicles where there is room to tilt the cannon or the gun down more.
Yeah. I mean, modern tanks have a depression of like between -10 and -20 degrees.
Yeah.
And the Nova is -5.
Okay. Yeah. They need to work on that then. Absolutely. All right, CIG. Sir Togi gave you a great idea for all vehicles, but definitely for his 5 tanks, please.
Yeah, please, for your God, so I can stop feeling
please
so
fix
dumb.
the tanks, okay? Fix the tanks. All right, Togi. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, and yeah, I hate to say it. Well, you know what? I think I melted my tank. I did melt it. It's still in my hangar, but yeah, that's kind of depressing, especially the incline thing. I did not know that. I knew about the tank barrel not going down too much, but okay. Yeah, CIG, please fix that, okay? All right, so we got past the please fixes. We're right at the top of our hour. I want to really, before we get to our final one, which I know you guys will really, really enjoy, let's talk a little bit about St. Jude Children's Hospital. Again, as you guys know, we're doing our fundraising for St. Jude. We are at, wow, 3710. You guys have bumped us up already. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We only need another 290. Yeah, 290. $290, and we'll be at our $2,000 mark for our next giveaway. So let's look at a little bit of the information about St. Jude, and then we'll come back and get into the show. Okay, here we go.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and YouTube are teaming up to help end childhood cancer.
In September, supporters from across the nation come together during Childhood Cancer Awareness Month to raise money for the kids of St. Jude.
And that's when YouTube gamers will be posting videos and live streaming to raise funds to support the life-saving mission of St. Jude.
At St. Jude, families never receive a bill for treatment, travel, housing, or food, because all a family should worry about is helping their child live.
Money raised also supports the research that leads to groundbreaking medical discoveries that St. Jude freely shares around the globe.
I can only imagine as a parent the relief that they feel when someone like St. Jude steps in.
I think it's a really good lesson for us to realize that we need to do more, and we can do more.
It is a huge step in the right direction, a huge step in helping just people and giving back.
It's all for good, and we have a responsibility, a social responsibility to help out.
Find your favorite video or live stream during St. Jude Play Live on YouTube for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month and donate to this amazing cause.
Your support will help St. Jude further its incredible mission.
Finding cures, saving children.
Let's end childhood cancer together.
Alrighty, let's end childhood cancer. There we go. Alrighty. And here are our tiers that we're looking forward to doing that you guys are going to help us get there for our different milestones. Again, our $2,000 tier is just $210 away, or $290 away. Did I say 90 or 10? $90 away. So we're getting there. We're almost there. Maybe we'll make it by this weekend. That would be awesome if we can, because then we'll do our giveaway. But that'll be the Navy field jacket and the Navy cap, the UEE gear. We're going to put that out. Then after that, our next goal will be that $3,000 goal. We're going to do our very first 12-hour live stream, 12 hours. We're going to have plenty of our content creator guests that are going to come on. We're going to have some fun, some games, some giveaways, a whole bunch of stuff that day. You got to keep us awake for 12 hours. So be ready for that as well. And then, of course, you can see all the other tiers that we're going to be doing for giveaways. Don't forget, we're going to be doing a special giveaway for those who contribute to the St. Jude Children's Hospital. We're going to be doing a special giveaway where we're going to give away either a Polaris or a BMM. So if you want to be in that giveaway, we'll give consideration to giving to St. Jude Children's Hospital. If you already have, you're already going to be plugged in for that. So that'll be something to look forward to as well. So thank you guys, as always, for the St. Jude piece. Okay. Last but not least, I'm going to hit our final area here. We've talked about CIG Please Stop, and we've done CIG Please Fix, and now we're going to do CIG Please Start. Please start. Things you want to CIG do. We talked about stop doing, start fixing. What are some things you would like to CIG start doing? Some things that you'd like to see, or maybe something that they were doing before that maybe they stopped doing. Let's talk about that. Okay, so give you some time to think about it. We've already got somebody in the queue. We're going to bring in Kaizen. Kaizen has beat out Pops in Space 3 for 3 this week. He's been the first person in. So don't forget, you guys can click the link. Give us, if you want to come in and share your thoughts, you are more than welcome. This show is a one-on-one for you guys to come in and talk with me. So, Kai, you there?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This CitizenCon,
okay,
it is time for CIG to start releasing the ramp up, the whatever you want to call it, for Squadron. It's time. They need to, this
pull the curtain back.
Needs to be the hype announcement with the teaser trailer to start off a cycle of, over the next year, more information, more this, more that, with a release date for Squadron 42 sometime in 2024 calendar year. Probably for Christmas, which means when I say for Christmas, I mean you release it in September, October, November, December, like first week of December, like that. But, or maybe, you know, maybe even late summer. And I'm seeing people in there, Squadron 42 is still 2 years out, man. If that's the case, it's going to get rough for them, because nope.
Yeah,
They're
I agree.
past that point.
I agree.
It needs to happen now.
I would love to see, no, I agree, Kai. I would love to see the, Squadron 42 quarter 4, 2024. That's something I want to see. Quarter 3, 24, whatever. But I want it doesn't have to be like a, like when Starfield did it, they did the 11/11 thing. I don't think that's the thing to do. But I do think the thing to do is to say fourth quarter. And, and as we move toward it, they can finally put out what they know is a release date. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that CIG will do a public beta, like a closed beta, or do you think they're just going to put it out?
Not for Squadron. For Squadron, it's going to be some information, some highly controlled releases of information.
Okay.
But it's going to be here's the drop, and full surprises.
Full surprise. Okay. All right. No beta, because there are people who talk about they're looking for when something goes out about beta testing. I don't think they'll beta test it either.
Not Squadron.
Yeah, not Squadron. I don't think they will. I
think there will be. We've already had extensive alpha, and we're going to have very extensive beta in Star Citizen. Squadron is going to be a whole different animal.
Another thing. Okay. All right.
We'll see, though.
All right. We'll see. CitizenCon announcement. All right. Thank you, Kai. Okay. CIG, please start. What is something that you guys want to see? What are the things you all want to see CIG begin doing, start doing, or go back to doing? What are some ideas you guys have? I'm going to bring in North End Trooper. North, you there?
Howdy, sir.
Yes, sir. What do you want to see CIG please start blank?
I would love to start seeing streaming information within the game. So trade, cost of commodities, and please start implementing their community streams into the game. It'd be pretty cool. While I'm quantuming, I can watch a stream in my ship.
That would be very cool. Because we've got all these monitors right on ships. We've got them in the bars. It would also, I think there would be people who honestly would create those social spaces to be able to do that. Because I know, like, I'm in Test Squadron, right? And if ISC comes on, or let's say SEL, everybody's in Discord, and people basically what they do is they kind of mute and go into watching the shows. But if it was in game, would I be willing to tell people, hey, let's meet at M&V and let's watch the thing together? Heck yeah, I would. I'm that role play guy, right? But but they've got all those monitors and stuff, and they're running commercials and stuff for ships and stuff. But yeah, why not run that stuff into the game? I'd be down for it 100%.
I think it would fill a lot of dead space within the game if they were start to implement that,
and making the game feel alive. You know what I mean? Not just going in with stuff, but actually making it feel alive. And not just that, we're also connecting the RL versus the Playgate world, right? Those two things are coming together, which to me would be great. And I'd be in the game. I'd gladly log into the game and watch any of the shows. I agree 100%. That's a good idea.
And a kind of caveat on that too, with information, please start opening up an API for traders. We can start pulling some data, because my dream is while I'm stuck at work, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do some space hauling when I get home. I have an idea where
what's
I'm
going on. Yeah. And I didn't mean to skip over your first suggestion about the information for commodities and things like that. I know that we have that little, that little routine that pops up on your mobiGlass once in a while that tells you, here's the prices for this, that, and the other. But I do agree with you. I think if they start implementing the economy in some form, especially with this whole sea and all this other stuff coming up, that it would be great to see demand on, copper being dropped off at this location or gold being dropped off here. Those would be awesome. And if it was an API, even better. Even better.
They already have it technically in game. I say it
they
with
do.
Very big air quotes. It's a static.
Yes,
but
static.
What's on the monitors and the links when you pop them up? It's commodity pricing.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see in real time.
Yeah, let's get the TDD's monitors actually working. You know what I mean? They're not just the placeholder stuff, but that stuff's really up there telling us what needs to be purchased and sold and bought throughout the verse. That would be awesome. Okay, thank you, Northan.
Awesome, thank you.
Good suggestion. Me being a trading guy, I would love to see that type of stuff pop in. Let's bring in Admiral Kusanagi. Admiral, you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. CIG, please start what?
Start making science career fields.
Okay. Like what if there was a career field you would pick that you want to see them open up, and they've done medicine, you've been working on mining, salvaging. What's the next career field you'd like to see them? You think that they've kind of gotten to the place where they need to start working on?
I mean, it's everything under the sun, really. I mean, we have the Sen, or whatever the heck the ship is called.
Okay.
And everything from mineral research to like soil, like see if you can farm on it.
Okay.
So there's like you astrology, which is like the big giant satellite dish for the giant ship towards the end.
Yeah, but
we don't need that now.
That's not in right now, right? But we do have ships with cartography stuff on them, right?
Yeah, we do have stuff with science stations, and we have no information about where they're going, about what other career fields they're going to look at. Like, people want to go to Pyro, but there's so much that hasn't been expanded upon in Stanton because they're like, oh, this Stanton's done. Oh, we have to get to Pyro because Stanton's done. We're missing like 50% of the stuff to do in Stanton.
Yeah.
And I don't see how we can get out to another system when they have so much more to do.
Yeah, I mean, the players are the ones that say Stanton's done. Stanton's not done. CIG has told us that Stanton's not done. So there is, like you said, room to do more even within Stanton. I know we think of it from the sense of resources and what they can add to it, but they've told us that Stanton definitely is not done. So science would be a good one. I think that, you'd have to find some tier 0 aspect of what it may be that is to, because like you were mentioning, like the Sin has this science workstation. In fact, that's the only ship I think that has a science workstation on it, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Right now,
yeah.
They need a medium. I would love for them to have a medium science ship coming out at CitizenCon, because that way they could talk about it more. They wouldn't need such a large ship as whatever the hell that big giant ship is called. What's that big giant one?
Endeavor.
Endeavor.
Right.
They wouldn't have to go. Wouldn't have to go into
like a tier 0 through
like,
something else.
Hey, this is a smaller version of that. This is beyond the Sen.
Yeah.
And this is what you can do. And as we get the solar system and the Stanton system starting to circulate and actually have orbits, because that needs to happen still.
Yeah.
This is what you'll be able to do with that, and so on. So I need them to kind of just finish, just to keep doing science so we can kind of feel like it's actually being a more complete system.
Okay.
So when we get to a new system, it'll actually be just,
start implementing it there.
More implemented, and they'll have no idea what's going on.
Okay.
But I just feel like they're just throwing stuff at a dartboard sometimes.
Okay, I like that. I think science would be great. Thanks, Admiral. Science is good. Science is good. Let's bring in Pops in space. Pops, you there?
Yeah, yes I am.
Yes, sir. What would you like to see CIG start doing?
Well, I don't know if this is more start. I'm going to say 2.0. I want them to bring back the hangar.
Personal hangers.
Yeah, or habs, or
Okay.
Because I want to start decorating. I want to put a bed. I want to put some sheets in there.
Don't mention sheets. Oh my God, don't mention sheets. Okay.
Pictures,
but you want your own space. You want something that is actually yours, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, instead of the generic thing.
Right. I just don't want to necessarily have and fly around all the time and fight. I want to go in. I want to decorate.
Abdi Johan, thank you for the sub. Appreciate you, brother. Good to see you. I know you stopped by and see me yesterday too. Good to talk to you. Yeah, Pops, I get you, because I mean, waking up in a hab is great, but you literally just wake up and run out of it, right? You don't even look. I mean, just you pick up and walk out of that room. And I know to a certain degree, our ships are our habs, right? We live in like Colossal. Some other people, they live on their ships. But I do understand the idea of the hangars, because the hangars back in the day, all of our flair that we've got, I used to decorate mine, dude. I had my stuff. I had my Big Benny's machine. I had my display cases. I had everything laid out so nice when I used to go in there. The problem with that was that those hangars back in the day, it was just you. Your friends couldn't come in, see what you collected, couldn't see your awards and all that other stuff. But now, I know with the cargo refactor, they're moving toward that, because now they're bringing in the freight elevators where you'll be able to bring your cargo and stuff. I'm hoping, Pops, that's like a step toward that now, where you can take those flair and have it in it's your space. I don't know when that could happen, but because there are thousands of players, right? And everybody having their own customized space that kind of spawns in when you're in the game and goes away when you're gone. But yeah, I agree. Your hab or your hangar, that's yours. No question.
I want to be able to spawn my ship, so I can, especially, capital size ships and larger ships, because I want to learn, I want to know where my components are. I don't want to have to do that and spawn in and verse sitting on a pad and I got a timer or fly out in the middle of space and sit there and hope, somebody doesn't
Let me share some good news with you. Because I know you and Fist have kind of taken a hiatus from the game. Now, when you go into hangars, rarely are you ever kicked out of it. So that's the good thing. You can bring your ship in now. Like I literally bring my ship in, and I've spent 20 minutes, 25 minutes in my ship and never get bumped, don't get kicked out. That's a new thing that they did implement, like in the patch before, I think like in 3.17 or something like that. So that is that's a step toward it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't there, but it is a step where when I'm on my ship and I'm trying to put my guns and all that stuff on, I don't feel like I've got that pressure of, oh my God, I've only got a few seconds before somebody's going to call for this hangar and my ship disappears. You know what I mean? So that is nice. But to your point still, to have that permanency where not just my ship being in there, but the stuff that I set up outside, if I want to spawn my vehicles in here so that I can load my vehicles in, because right now I've got to take my ship out and go down to a moon or a planet, you know what I mean, to load stuff in. But to have my hangar where now I can spawn my vehicles and everything else, and I can spawn my freaking Pisces to go in my Carrack, that would be great. I agree 100%. Great idea. Great idea, Pops. Okay, buddy.
Yep.
Thank you, man. All right, let's bring in Togi. Mr. T, what's up?
So this is kind of going to go back to my first one.
Okay.
But please start iterating on combat balance in a player-facing way.
Okay, give example.
They have that Master Modes test for Arena Commander and Evocati. All right, not only should that go to, a wider PTU, but it should go to live too.
Okay.
And it should stay in live, and it should be continually updated. Players, instead of just, oh, trust me, bro, it's in Squadron. We can actually test it,
right?
And actually say, oh, hey, this feels pretty good, Or if it ends up like hover mode, then, oh, hey, this is poop and it's not what you think it is.
Yeah. Mastered modes, I've heard both sides. I've heard people who are excited about it and people who are worried about it.
And you can't know if you
until we get it and try it. Yeah, because that is a big change in the flight model.
It's a huge change.
Yeah, it's a huge change in the flight model. And so, yeah, we don't want it to be like it comes out and it becomes a big disappointment or something that CIG literally has to pull back out of the game, like you said, like hover mode, and say we got to go back to the drawing board on it.
Yeah, I love Yogi to death.
Yeah,
but he seems real cagey about it.
And it's significant.
And yeah, and I mean the guy needs to realize that he can't do it alone. And I mean the one thing that Star Citizen has that no other game has is a community of thousands, if not millions, or tens of thousands of testers.
Yep.
And you're leaving a big chunk of data on the table if you're not using it.
Yeah, very true. Okay, yeah, master mode is significant. It's a huge change to flight. It's a huge change to gameplay.
It's a huge change to everything. The combat balance we have now is just boring.
Yeah.
I haven't played the game in 6-8 months because I'm just kind of meh.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed for what I care about.
Yeah. Well, master modes is definitely going to be the turning point for that. So let's hope they get it right, but at the same time, leave enough flexibility in there so that when the community gives comment and response to it, it doesn't have to be a situation where it gets yanked out completely. Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
like hover mode did.
Agreed. Okay. Good, Togi. Good point. Thank you, man.
Yep.
Okie dokie. And last but not least, the man himself, the legend, Fastcart. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm okay. I'm sure you've got something interesting that you would like to see CIG start doing.
Yeah, I wrote it down so I don't forget any part of it. So this is like 3 or 4 sentences. So here we go.
Okay.
CIG, please start putting out video content 5 days a week again. All of these content creators are complaining about lack of content. Give them what they want. I'm sure Jared can survive a 60-hour work weeks.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. You know that it's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. You remember the time when we had five days of content and we had Lawmakers, Birthmaxers, Citizens of the Stars, all that good stuff. Go back to those days. Jared will be fine. He'll be fine.
Well, it's not just Jared. You know, even though Fastcart's being facetious about this, it was interesting to find out how much that put stress on the devs and that had to come on and do those shows because they had to stop their work. Obviously, they've got to do script writing. I mean, even I felt bad for what was the guy's name, Fastcart, who did Bug Smashers?
Ben
Mark Aben.
Yeah,
those Bug Smashers sometimes would run like 15, 20 minutes. He would have to literally stop doing work. I mean, he kind of did it. The way they did the show, it seemed like it was kind of like a off the cuff thing, like he just got the notice and fixed it.
Yeah, but they would have to go back to a previous bug that had already been fixed.
They'd have to find it from weeks. He'd have to find something, then fix it, then come back, right? Then pretend like as if he did. I mean, that was a whole lot of time for like a 15, 20-minute segment.
Yeah, I mean, it took 15 minutes to just to show it.
Yeah.
But it probably took like an hour, or maybe an hour and a half just to record it and get all the content.
Yeah. But I think that the complaint that the content creators are making is not necessarily about the video content that CIG is putting out. They're frustrated with the game content. They feel like there's not enough there for them to be able to either make commentary on, or if they're trying to do play sessions, that they don't have enough there. You know, CIG will talk about stuff, but then they don't deliver it in the game. And I think that's where they're really frustrated with. They want CIG to be producing more gameplay content so that they have something to show their viewers. And I understand that because they're in Fastcard, you and I have been around long enough to remember that there are a lot of content creators that have come and gone. Some of them have survived, very few. You can probably count on your hand how many content creators have survived from 2014, 15 till now doing strictly game content.
Barely.
Yeah.
Barely,
Now, back in the day, there were tons of them. But during that 2015 to 2017 period, a lot of them realized they could not survive. A lot of them were basing their development of content on the premise that Squadron 42 was going to come out, and even Star Citizen was going to be further along than it was. And when that didn't happen, it was difficult to come out to stream 3 hours, 4 hours of a game that basically was not moving very fast. We can name them, right? Captain Richard, one of the people who's still out there, but mostly Star Citizen. You know what I mean? He's still, his emphasis, people know him, know, but I'm saying, but people know him more for Star Citizen. They also know him for doing space genre, right? So he's kind of found a niche. Paul has found a niche. He plays the game, but he also found other areas to focus in on. Meyer still does Star Citizen, but does other stuff too. He's out there doing Red Dead Redemption a lot. But then there was like that later generation of people who came in, like HC Vertigo and some other people who do stream the game. He's variety. He's variety now, like completely variety. He used to be predominantly Star Citizen, but he's variety. But you've got the later generation of people like Morphologists. You've got Mike and some other people. Mike's still out there doing it. He's still predominantly Star Citizen.
He's close to being an OG.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, but for some of them, it's a real struggle to produce stuff for that's exclusively Star Citizen. So it's a tough one. This is not like a normal game. Mm-hmm.
And you're right. I am being facetious, but I don't think CIG should like bend over backward to please like the 1% of people who are content creators in order to just to please them when they have like 99% of the other people who are just waiting for the game or waiting for the next pack.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let me drop in a name here. I don't know how I forgot him myself. Is Nuberfire. Nuberfire is still out there producing
I was gonna
stuff.
do that.
Yeah, Nuberfire. You mentioned some people. Thank you, because you're mentioning them. Sergeant Gamble was one of those folks out there. Tactical Advance, another one that was out there. Stingray, you mentioned the Enablers with what's her name? Batgirl. But even Batgirl got pulled away a little bit too, because real life was affecting her a little bit, because she was working, going to school, but she was also one of those heavy content creators that was putting stuff out. Tough job to do. But people who have survived, like Nuberfire, like Mike, like others, have found a niche aspect of Star Citizen that they've been able to sustain them. But they still, like even with us, it's tough. I mean, it is tough. We're lucky because what we produce is not based on where CIG is always right now. We go back and cover CIG from their beginnings to now. So we're fortunate enough that we can kind of continue to pull things. But it is not an easy thing to do. So I know that people want CIG to say, CIG, start putting out more gameplay, more features. I've got mixed feelings about that. It's one of those things where if it's not ready, it's not ready. How do you maintain and keep the community's interest and involvement in a game that stalls from time to time? Our quarter release is a good thing. I mean, I think quarterly releases are good because they do give us, it brings a level of accountability for them to produce something, right? But you also don't want them producing mess, stuff that's broken or problems. For those of you who weren't around back in the day, the quarterly releases have not always been there. There was a time where we just waited on releases to just come out when they were ready. And at one period, that was an entire year. Very difficult times. I don't know. It's a tough one, FC. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain level of quality that you want to come out that makes sense.
To be totally serious, I would rather they develop the game rather than put out content for us.
But are you saying that as a gamer, or are you saying that as a content creator? For when you say that, and I'm asking seriously, which one are you saying?
I guess I'm saying it more as a gamer than a content creator, because my job is easier on Soul Talk. I can just look at the website, look at what they put on the dev tracker or whatever that week, and produce content. So maybe I'm not as hard pressed to come up with stuff on Soul Talk compared to some of the other content creators. I don't stream the game.
Yeah, it's tough. We always talk about this. CIG walks a tightrope, right? They swing too much to the left, they could fall. They swing much to the right, they could fall. When they walk down the middle, people are waiting for him to fall, right? I don't know.
They can't win no matter what.
It's a tough one. You don't want to sugarcoat it. There's a part of me that says when this is all said and done, the question will be, what will history say? Will we as gamers say it was worth it? Will we as content creators look back in retrospect and say it was tough, but it was worth it? Or will we look back and say it wasn't worth all that? You know what I mean? This is going to be one of those things that as history unfolds, we'll have to decide what the deal is,
Well, the one thing I do wish that they bring back is CIG, please start doing the holiday live streams again, because the last one was the gift that keeps giving.
No, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I actually like the end of year shows. And I hate that they're not there anymore. Because that was
we can bring them back.
Yeah, but you're saying the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah, but you're talking about the gift that keeps on giving from the 2016 thing. I'm talking about, I like the fact that we wrapped the year up at the end. You know what I mean? It was also kind of like that year in review thing, which I liked a lot. Because right now it tapers off with IAE.
I think they moved the year in review to ISC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did that little show where they did that, but I like the whole holiday thing because you remember they showed all the different people. Sean, Trace, everybody came out. You know what I mean? And I like that, and I kind of like that end of the year culmination because it was also the time before they went into their 3-week vacations off. You know what I mean? So I like that. I mean, don't get me wrong; it's a lot to do. CitizenCon in October. Turn around and pull IAE off in November, and then do an end of the year show in December. At the end with the end of the year show. It's a lot. It really is. But I did like the fact that the year ended up at the end. They wished everybody happy holidays, and then they went on their break. But again, we do want them to put more energy and focus on development, not necessarily having to satisfy us with what we want to see happen, in social media. So. Okay, well, yeah, Texas Skulls, another one. Yeah, boy, oh boy, you guys are dropping some great names in here. Bad News Baron. Well, Bad News Baron got married, I think, and his life changed dramatically. Rex decided.
Tokyo. I think he yeah.
Oh, Supreme Tokyo's been gone a long time. Yeah. Rexilla went after a music. He went to a whole music video thing and started doing music. You guys are mentioning a lot of good games, a lot of names here. Gray-headed gamer family. He pops in every once in a while. He's been back a little bit recently. He pops in every once in a while. Gamble, we talked about him. WTF Saurus. Yeah, I don't know what he was in Austin. We saw Saurus in Austin. But don't know. Yeah, I haven't seen him streaming.
I'm going to drop two names because they really got me started on moderating. I'm going to drop Admiral Nolan. Hart.
Yeah, Hearts is around still. Hearts is still running the women. Yeah. She's still running the women's thing that gets together. They still do stuff. She's not streaming, but she is still doing stuff, and she's out doing her belly dancing and stuff too. So she's still out there. Yeah, you mentioned about Tokyo. Yeah, we haven't seen Tokyo in quite a while. So
Witch Kitty, that's another one.
Witch Kitty, yeah, Witch
Sophie
Kitty.
Girl.
Well, you had all the women with Sophie Girl with the verse in the verse. We had the women that were out there for a while, which was a great show. They didn't last very long, but they were a really good show. Maybe maybe somebody will do that again too. The all women thing. That was very cool. I enjoyed it. Anyway, Commander Shepard. Yeah, Shepard's still around. He's just not streaming. He pops in. He pops in from he pops in from time to time. But again, it's tough to stream, gang. If you're doing it, because you enjoy it and it's a hobby, that's great. But if you're trying to really build a community and do it, no small thing. I miss Uber Nerd. Yes, Kavion. Haven't seen him in a little bit. Miss him. Haven't seen him in a little while. He's a wild man. I call him the wild man of Star Citizen. God forbid if he gets a few drinks in him and starts singing, he becomes a whole new person. He's a funny guy. All right. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys for coming in and joining us for these topics of CIG Please. I know we had some interesting things of CIG Please Stop, CIG Please Fix, and CIG Please Start. But we really appreciate you guys coming in. Fast Card, since you're here, Podsat Saturday, right? Today's the day where we partner with other CIG content creators. Paul Shelley, with the Captain's Table at 5 p.m. Eastern time. You guys go out. I'm sorry, 6 p.m. Eastern is 5 p.m. my time. Sorry. 6 p.m. Eastern Time with Paul Shelley and the Captain's Table, where he brings in content creators and folks from the community to talk about the latest with Star Citizen. So you guys, definitely, if you got time, check in with him. And after that, we've got the OGs of Star Citizen, the gentlemen over at Relay. They are on at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Great conversation, gameplay with those guys. They talk about space and a whole bunch of other things. So if you guys get a chance to check them out, we really, really appreciate you guys spending your Saturday evening and afternoon with a lot of Star Citizen content. So hopefully you guys will be able to join and stop in for that. On tomorrow, we are doing a show called UEE. I feel good. Let's see. Will SC. Thank you, Will. Thank you for that, for subscribing.
Thank you, Will SC.
We appreciate that. 18 months strong. Thank you for that support. Yeah, you guys, we're going to be doing a show called the UEE, United Earth Empire. You know, Fastcard, the only time the subject of the UEE really comes up is when it's time for Invictus. And earlier, we didn't talk about the importance of, who's that? Vader Undersoul Zakin. That's a long name. VUSV. Thank you, Vader. I don't know if that's German or if it's something that we just don't know, but thank you for the follow. We appreciate you dropping by.
Thank you for the follow.
Oh, there's no captain's table today, Shady? Oh, Paul's not doing it? I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. Well,
thanks for the head. Yeah, thanks for the heads up, Shady. We didn't know he wasn't going to be doing it tonight. It's German. Father and son gaming. That's cool. Vater und Son Zaken. Thank you. I'll throw my German behind it a little bit there. Thank you for that. I know Nuberfire would have told me that's what it was because I'm sure he knows a little German, but thank you. That's a very cool name. Father and son. So anyway, we're going to be talking about the UEE tomorrow. If you're not into lore, this is a time to tune in. You guys know Paul has stuff out there. Thank you. Thank you for that, Vater. Thank you. Thank you for that subscription. Appreciate that. But we're going to be talking about the UEE tomorrow. And so if you want to know more about it, how it got started, going all the way back to the messers and all that stuff, Fast Cart, we got to do some homework. Crash coursing tonight for that show tomorrow. Are you on that show tomorrow? Are you on that show tomorrow?
If you need me, yeah.
Yeah,
because you need me, so yeah.
Yeah, because I need some help with that one. God.
Yeah, okay.
The Lord
right,
people.
I'll be on.
Yeah, I wish we had Colossal on. I know he's working now, but I know he knows some of the lore, and Jade knows some of the lore. But we're going to get into this whole thing about the UEE tomorrow, guys. So hopefully you guys can join us for that show, and also you guys can share stuff with us as well. Looking forward to the next Virtual Bar Citizen. Yeah, that's great. Oh, okay, you're going to attend. Awesome. Yeah, we'll probably.
Oh, okay, Whiteboard. I know Whiteboard. Yeah.
Yes, we're going to probably do the next one right after. I don't think we're going to pull one off after CitizenCon. It's going to be a lot. We may do one, but if not, we'll definitely do one after IAE or around IAE, just so you'll know. Okay. We'll see how CitizenCon goes. It's going to be a busy week for all of us leading up to that, and also those of us attending. So let's see. If we're feeling good, maybe, but definitely at IAE, I can tell you that one for sure. And the only reason why I'm saying we may do it is because they're not doing a Bar Citizen at CitizenCon this year. Well, I'm not going to say that. CIG is not sponsoring it. They're Joe Run and them are trying to pull something together in LA, but it'll probably be at different bars and all over the place versus everybody being in one place. So we're going to play that one by ear, but definitely after IAE probably. Okay. Yeah, so that's our show for tomorrow. We're going to be doing a raid. Fast Card, that's who we got. Trip today?
Yeah.
Trip is going to be the one. Okay. Those of you over at YouTube, thank you as always for watching. We appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with us, as well as those of you who are on Twitch. Don't forget our social media. You guys can check that out. And when you get time, if there's interested. By the way, Fast Card,
on August 26th, right?
Yeah, as we get closer to that, I'm going to mention that because she hasn't confirmed everything with that one yet. So we're still waiting. I got my mug, Fast Card. Look, I got my own. It's not coming over on the screen, but this is mine. I bought mine, finally. I don't have my own swag with my own name on it, so I got my own thing. But we have plenty of stuff out there, guys. You got to check out our shirts and everything. If you're going to come to CitizenCon, make sure you get a Soul Citizen shirt so we can know that you watched the show and you can tell us who you are. Anyway, thanks again for being here today. We appreciate you guys as always. Don't forget about St. Jude. We appreciate that. Did we go up in our numbers? Okay, we're still at $17.10, $290 away. Hopefully we'll make that over the next week. As always, thank you guys for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves. Peace, love, and soul, and we'll see you guys later. Have a great weekend. Peace. Don't forget to check out Chip.